411 Live.
Where you can learn about issues that impact us every day. State of world, 411 Live.
Real people, real talk.
Made to help people in our community in every way. Boy, your girl, 411 Live.
Violence is not just a matter of statistics. Statistics such as between January and the end of March of this year in Milwaukee, 7 children were killed, 27 were shot. Now, those statistics are alarming, but just think about putting faces behind those numbers, and it's heartbreaking. Hello, I'm Beverly Taylor, and this is the 411 Live, Real People, Real Talk. In March, 15-year-old Davion Patterson was shot and killed. Friends and family say he was trying to intervene during an argument. Why does this keep happening? And just think of the impact this has on the loved ones of Davion, the loved ones of other victims. Let's talk about it. Joining me, Tiera Carter. She is the mother of Davion, Marcus Lynk. He is the restorative practice coach at Milwaukee Excellence. And Nathaniel Alston, a 10th grade student at Milwaukee Excellence. Welcome to all of you. Now, I mentioned the stats and Davion. And first of all, let me say to you, Tiera, I am truly sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I know it's great. I know it's great. And we're going to talk more about what happened, but I want to put a face on that statistic for him. From the news reports that I've seen, the pictures that I've seen, he's a pretty fantastic kid.
He was.
Tell me about him.
Very goofy, very loving, protector. Like, I have 5, and he was literally like the middle.
Okay.
But he was big brother, like, because he has 2 older sisters. Mm-hmm. But he was their big brother. He let them know all the time, like, look, little bro, come here.
Right.
That's what he called them. So, but yeah, so he was a really good-hearted person.
Yeah.
Like, anything I needed him to do, he would do, without hesitation.
Yeah. From what you say, they say that he died intervening in an argument. It sounds like maybe that doesn't surprise you. He sounds like a protector.
He was literally breaking up the fight. Literally, that's what he was doing, was breaking it up, and then the other side started shooting.
Right. And 5 other people were injured in this.
Yep. So his older sister, my oldest daughter, she got grazed by the bullet, and then my goddaughter was the one that was fighting, and 3 other her friends got shot. One got shot in the back, and it went through her stomach. From what I was told, like, I haven't talked to any of the parents, but from what I was told, she's temporarily paralyzed. One was shot in the back, and then she got hit by a car, like they ran her over with the car. And then, if I'm not mistaken, another person got grazed in the ear with the bullet. It was all of my goddaughter's friends that was there, and then my oldest daughter and my son.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to take.
It
lot
is.
to take. In all of this, and I know the ripple effect. I mean, I know it hit you tremendously hard. There's the ripple effect. Like, he was 15. He was going to school, Milwaukee Excellence. There are all the kids, the students, and I know it just, hit everybody. For the school, how has that support, the folks, how has that helped?
It's been really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like them calling to check and seeing if I'm okay. The things that they done in honor of him, like.
Take your time. Take your time.
I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
I am, because
most schools wouldn't have did the stuff that they're doing for him.
Yeah.
And just the support.
Nathaniel, I was saying that, the ripple effect, the student body. What did you see in the school?
Well, it started at first like kids were talking on the bus. They like, did you know da 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 died, and everybody thought like it wasn't real at first. And then we got to school, and that's when it really hit. Like people found out that it was really true, and then it was girls crying, men crying, boys crying. Some of the teachers even had to take a little break, even though they were like mourning themselves. They had to help the students, and it was just like a whole bunch of tears. It wasn't really much laughter or joy or smiles anymore. It was just cries and sadness.
Yeah, yeah. I would imagine counselors were brought in to help the kids, Marcus?
From that standpoint, they brought in Mr. Lynk, the principal for the high school, which is also our CEO. Had great conversations. Brought in conversations with Ms. Harris that's over here. They talked to those students. We also, like we said before, just finishes our Youth Victory Over Violence Week, which is more resources for kids to use, such as counseling and things like that.
I was going to get this a little bit later, but since you brought it up, this Victory Over Violence, the timing couldn't have been any better, right?
Right.
And I'm sure it had, more meaning this year because of what happened. Did you feel that way, Nathaniel?
Yeah, if I was to say my personal opinion, last year when we had it, although students were engaged, I feel like it was mostly seen as a time to just like waste time in school, just like also like learn something, but just like get rid of the school day. But this year you could see like in the student eyes, they was really listening because they actually went through what the presenters were talking about. And they actually listened to all the stuff about gun violence and all the other topics that were spoken about.
When we talked earlier, Nathaniel, going back to the coping and dealing with it after the incident happened with Davion, you were mentioning that there were people who came in, the counselors, and how that got people who might not be willing to actually talk and express their feelings.
Yeah, about I say like a day after it happened, Mr. Lynk brought in like professional counselors. It was about I say like 5 to 8 of them, and they were right in the room like when you first walk in the school building, and a lot of students went in there to talk and like express their feelings, and the people that were really hurt, they was like, it was kind of hard for them to step in there because they didn't really know how to express their feelings. But when they went in there, like they broke down into tears and they actually talked by expressing it in words, and then the counselors gave them like good feedback about how to like just take time, let it settle in, and then work on breaking down how to get better and like live your regular life again. Although sometimes like they might not never get back to their regular life because it might have hit them so hard.
Yeah. So I would think, now you have this title, Restorative Practice Coach, right? I would think that your skill would really fit into something like this. Am I right about that, Marcus?
Yes. The funny story about my title, it came from starting with Dean of Students. And as we viewed it over the years, it sounded like too aggressive. And certain students, they're like, oh, you in trouble. You got to go see the dean. But actually, when you come into the office, half the time when you come in there, we're talking to kids about, how to use certain tips and tools to redirect their emotions in certain ways, not to go quickly to want to fight or run from the situation. We'll give them certain coping mechanisms, breathing tips. We will do restorative projects to talk about some of the things that they would do. Like I said, the biggest thing for me right now is cyberbullying in middle school. So we would talk about how social media affects a lot of students. Like it could talk about issues like, oh, well, this person talked about me. They posted a picture about me. We'll talk about how they feel, what that could look like, and also it was give them tips about how to ignore or just stay away from it. Instead of, oh, I'm going to see her at school or I'm going to see this person at school. It's like, Well, at the end of the day, whatever they post, if they're doing that about you, that doesn't go away. So that's going to affect them more than you. And if you react to it, then it's not going to help you or your academic pathway. So, like I said before, we changed the name to Restorative Practice Coach because we're trying to restore relationships.
Yes.
We're trying to do practices. It's not like a rule. It's not form. So it's going to take time. And as we continue to do these practices, the hope is to make sure our students learn from that and can be, a citizen, a part of our society.
Yeah, yeah. Because when I look at, reading about the different, because it seems like every year Milwaukee's hit a record for homicides, things like that. But it always seems to stem from an argument, a disagreement. So people are not, maybe don't have those conflict resolution tools to use. And so they're reverting to that gun and shooting each other. So I think that's really important that you are helping these students in their conflict resolution skills.
And that's the part. I think that I'm only one part of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like as I speak all the time, as I speak to parents, I'm one piece to the puzzle. I think as a community, we got to continue to come together and utilize these practices. Not just at school, at home, as we see kids out. To talk to them, pull them in, like, hey, we don't have to do these things. We have other options. And as you said before, like, the homicide rate is at an all-time high, and it continues to grow. And it's sad for myself to have to navigate that at a school, but I wish I could do more in moments. But what I can do, what I have at my campus, what I can now, but I think that as we continue to have this conversation, we just got to pull more people in, more resources to help the community get better at that, because it starts from the community for sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I think one thing we need to talk to our youth, and not only our youth, but Milwaukee as a whole, about is ego, pride, and self-control. Because as I think about it, like, you seen kids fighting, right?
Right.
And then you seen a kid trying to break it up. What made you go get a weapon? You seen a kid breaking up a kid's fight. You didn't have the self-control or the thinking or the ego to just be like, I'm not finna go get a weapon, but I'll rather just go talk to him or try to help him break up the fight. What made you go grab a weapon? So I feel like we should just work on, like, bringing down our ego, bringing down our pride, and increasing our self-control and making our self-control better so we can have more critical thinking and more self-control.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
That's a great point, for sure.
Tiera, I purposely didn't ask you anything. I want you to feel comfortable. But, like you, like me, we've heard these. We see the reports of the shooting and the homicide. We never think it's going to happen to us.
That's exactly. Like, honestly, I never thought I would be that mother.
Yeah.
Never. And only because my kid's not in the streets. Mm-hmm. My kids don't run the streets. My like, one thing I can say about my kids, and I know that for sure, they were never like the stoley kids and the ones who are here like creating havoc. Never. So I'm thinking like, okay, my kids are going to be safe. But me not thinking about the other kids, the ones who are out here who can do harm to my son.
Yeah, you're thinking from the standpoint of he won't institute anything,
Yeah.
start anything.
Yeah.
But not so much of him being, that innocent person who's there, the wrong place, the wrong time.
And unfortunately, a lot of the times, it's the innocent ones who get killed. Like, it be the ones who don't have nothing to do with nothing, minding their business, be the ones that end up getting hurt.
Mm-hmm. So as you process this, and I know you're probably, because this is still very raw, this is
Very,
new.
Very.
We're just in April here. So what are you thinking in terms of what you want to tell other kids, or what you're telling your kids, because you have other children, what you're telling them after the fact, after this?
It's funny because I had made a Facebook post about this. You see people who go on marches for police brutality. not one march for somebody's being killed. Because we're killing each other. Like, you get angry and you want to blame the police and do this and do that. Where's the anger when your cousin killed somebody? Where's that anger? Like, we're okay with each other killing each other. But when it comes to the police and other races and white, it's, oh my God, this is horrible. We need to do something. We need to get our own together first.
Yeah.
We need to be angry and learn how to teach them not to, because the rates of black people, black boys, black kids getting shot and killed, it's from other blacks. Like, honestly, it's from other African Americans. It's not. We are killing each other, and for no reason. No reason. 95% of the killings that are happening, it could have been prevented. It could have been completely prevented, and it's us.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people need to really understand. It's like, how can you have outrage and be mad when the police shoot somebody, but you don't say nothing when another black person kills another black person?
Where's the outrage?
Where's the outrage? Where's the anger? Where are the marches? Where's all that at?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm angry about. Because it was somebody else's son or sons who were shooting for no reason. And don't get me wrong, because I was angry because I was asleep when they left the house, getting ready to go to work for the next day. They knew better. Yeah. Teenagers, we all were teenagers. We all
They
did stuff that
knew
we
better
weren't
as
supposed
far
to do.
as going out at that time.
Yeah, like knew better not to leave the house, especially on the school night, especially if I'm asleep. Like, they knew better. But as we've all, as teenagers, done things we weren't supposed to do.
Right.
But to be running around with guns, that's a whole different caliber. Like, where are the parents who, like, no, because the thing is, like, all these cars being stolen and all this stuff going on, these are, like, basically our kids. I'm talking about community. These are not kids coming from Minnesota and Chicago driving here. I'm finna go steal the car. Like, no. Where is the, that's the thing, like, we need to figure out how to get these kids together, like, get them in the right path, because it's bad. It's like, me as a teenager, I have never seen it be this bad. I'm born and raised here. I've never seen it this bad. It's horrible. And the stuff that I see now is like, wow. I'm just amazed. And it's like, now you can't tell somebody else's kid when they're wrong, because then a parent wants to fight you.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day,
your neighbor would tell to get you, then your mama would come home, or dad, or whoever would come home and get you, and that's it. Yeah. Now, if you say something to somebody else's kid, don't say nothing to my kid. That's my kid, and that's where it all falls apart at. Because think about it, you at work all day, you can't see everything your child is doing, and kids are sneaky. Like, again, we were all kids. Kids are sneaky. Yeah, kids are sneaky. So, you know, like, as a parent, you can't see everything your kid is doing. So sometimes you need that community. That community is what keeps the kids together. It keeps everything in order. And without that, you have nothing. And now it's so many people with my kid, and then it comes out when that kid is doing all this crazy stuff. Now it's like, oh my God.
It takes a village.
It definitely takes a village.
And somehow our village is breaking down.
Oh, it ain't breaking down. It's broken. It's completely gone.
Yeah.
It's completely gone.
You know, we were talking on the phone, Marcus, and there are some things that Milwaukee Excellence is doing with the kids. You know, you have kind of the restorative kind of things. Instead of expelling or suspending kids left and right, like some schools do, whereas they might go home and they're home alone because parents are at work. You guys have other ways of dealing with this.
Yeah, so as we talked earlier, I spoke a lot about restorative over the punitive situation. I'm not saying that we don't suspend kids. We still do if it's like something egregious. The biggest thing I get for us just to put out there is if physical fights, we want to make sure that they are suspended and we have those follow-up meetings. But for smaller things, we try to use more of that restorative approach, which is making sure they have a conversation with myself, because I'm the restorative parish coach. We also find a counselor that's on the school property to be like, hey, can you go talk to the student real quick so we can give them some tips before they get upset. I think the biggest thing for myself right now, and as she brought up as we were younger, is just like the profanity from certain kids nowadays. It's like when you think about how they're speaking and where they're getting that from and where those things coming from, it's they get it from the community, they get it from social media and things of that nature. Or it could be at home too. But I would say that those are the biggest things that I have to work with a lot, and how to carry yourself, what things you should be saying, like replacement words. Because at times, as a teacher, and I'm trying to support my teachers, they're just hearing, cuss word this, cuss word that, you a curse word. And it's like I have to find a fine line, and I'm lucky to be able to work with some teachers that understand that we're all in there for the same cause, which is that community aspect of like, I don't want to just suspend a kid because I want this kid to pass his class.
Yeah.
But we also still want them to have a consequence, but also learn from that consequence instead of just being like, oh, you can be at home for 2 to 3 days, but realistically, you still doing what you want anyway. You're probably on your phone, you're probably playing video games. There's no conversation. So instead of me doing that, there's some options that I do where I'll take a kid out of the class that they did that harm in. We'll have that restorative project to complete, and then they have 2 options. They either apologize directly in front of the kids if it was like a whole classroom disruption, but if it was directly towards a teacher, like in passing, they said something disrespectful, I'll set up a time for them to talk and do that apology to the teacher and have that reflection as well.
Wow. Okay. You were talking about egos and pride and that kind of thing. Do you think that because, some of these arguments, and sometimes it's spawned by social media, but some of these things, sometimes we're just too sensitive?
Yeah. Speaking about ego and pride and what she was talking about, Miss Carter. Yeah, like our community coming down as a whole, and parents are becoming more overprotective and not letting their students, not their students, but their children explore the world. And I understand that, because why would you want your child to come out in the world that's full of guns and reckless driving? Because you never know what's going to happen. And I'm thinking, so could you restate the question again?
Well, I was just wondering about are kids maybe overly sensitive, being offended at the smallest thing?
Can I add to it?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
From what I see, and then thinking about when I was younger, it's like this thick skin mentality that I always had, and I would agree that I don't know if it's sensitivity, but I think it's also what they see in the community in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, the biggest thing they don't want to be, they don't want to look like they're either the terms they would use, I feel like I'm getting punked, or
I was just about to say that.
someone's trying to show me that I'm not stronger than them. It's like,
so what?
in this moment, why do you care about what that person thinks about you? Why would you fight just to impress 2 people over here just because of what you see and what you're hearing? And I'm normally not like a downer about music and things like that, but nowadays, the things that are spoke about, like, I know the biggest thing that we had to worry about, it was one rapper that, the ski mask thing, that was like a big issue we had to figure out right away. I was like, where is this coming from? I was like, I know that normally when I see people with ski masks, either it's because it's super cold outside and they gotta be, doing some type of sport, but like then you think of the other stuff, like,
Right.
why are you going to school with a ski mask? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand pop culture, but like a lot of stuff that's going on now, they feed into it, and like we spoke about earlier, like we're post COVID now, but still it's still the effects of kids were pretty much raised in a way by social media for a period of time when kids had to be at home. They didn't have interaction with adults, professional as teachers. Like, they'll see us over the camera, but at the same time, they got their camera or Chromebook here, but then their phone is here, and they're still looking at TikTok,
Right.
and searching through things and seeing what's the new hot thing out here. And that's a lot of stuff. A lot of the things that kids fight over are like ego things. It's like, all right, he called you this you use profanity while talking to you, but why is the first thing you think about is wanting to fight or prove yourself when you're not those things?
Yeah.
So retract your steps and be like, you know what? I'm going to walk away from this situation.
Yeah.
You have a good day. I don't know what you're mad about, but we'll figure it out later. And that's just the biggest thing. And I didn't mean to cut you off, so I'll let you add your spin on it because you're the teenager here.
If I'm being honest, I think the whole being sensitive part, it comes from like the kids knowing that their parents gonna back them up. Like, and I feel like that's a bad thing. Like, when a kid do something bad at the school, they be like, you can call my mama. You can call my mama. And then, like, because they know that they're not necessarily going to get in trouble. And I feel like that's because in this generation, like, parents are becoming, like, less strict. And while I was being raised, I was still in the era, like, you got to be home before the street lights come on. You got to make sure your grades good. You got to make sure the house clean before you go outside. And I feel like that's not the norm now. That's not mandatory now. A lot of kids just really do what they want. They come home, mom be like, okay, hey, how you doing? Not, oh, make sure you do the dishes. Make sure, let me see your grades. Let me see the progress report. A lot of times kids do what they do because they know that their parents going to accept it. I feel like parents got to be more strict so kids can have some discipline and know what's right from wrong. And although they might know what's right from wrong, they know that even if they do the wrong, they're not going to get in trouble. They know it's no consequence. I feel like it need to be more consequence so children can have discipline so they don't do the wrong because they know some bad going to happen if they do something wrong.
Can I intervene on that?
Yes.
And that's one of the things I see a lot. Parents are trying to be their friends.
That's big.
And, like, I can tell you right now, I got a 6-year-old daughter that can't stand me 75 days a year, at least. That's the minimum. Like, because we're going to butt heads because she's a teenager. I tell them all the time, I'm not your friend. Like, I'm your parent, so there are rules, there are consequences. Right. You're not going to like me, but you're going to love me when you get older and understand why I did what I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Parents are the kids' life coach. I mean, your mission is to guide and teach and direct so that when they become adults, they know what to do. They know how to act. They know how to, interact when somebody says something offensive. They know how to respond to that in the right manner. I don't know where this is coming from, but it's not about me, it's about you. Have a good day, this kind of it. Walk away. Walk away. But something happened.
Something happened. I think, honestly, like, the breakdown in families. No men being in the house. Women being extra masculine for no reason. Like, it's just, the foundation of home just got completely broken down. To where, like, there are not many good male role models for these boys to grow up and see. They look at the videos and they think that's real life, and nobody's telling them, cause me, Davion and Armani, my youngest, he used to be baby, I'll call him because he used to be the baby, but yeah. But, like, I have to tell them all the time, like, yeah, the stuff they rap about, they could rap about. They could probably go out and do it because they have $10 million lawyers. You go out and do it, you're going to get a public defender. And we have people in our family who's lost that battle, so I wouldn't recommend it.
Right.
Like, let's be smart. But, again, that's one of the things that, like...
Yeah, mommies and daddies are important. Their role is important. What were you going to say?
Just continue on what Miss Carter was saying. Being somebody who was raised just by a single mother, that mother had to step up as a father and a mother. And my mom did a very good job of raising me. Like, she made sure I knew what was right from wrong. She made sure if I stayed home, I kept that door locked. Made sure the house was clean when she came home. So what I'm saying is, like, most of the time when kids don't have a father figure and they step outside, when they go to school, they see men doing what's not right. Mm-hmm. And then as they grow up, they like, maybe I should try that. Or, like, if I go do that, like, I don't think nothing too bad gonna happen. And then they get into it, right? And then they live their life. They having fun while they do it. And then when they get to the point where they realize they're going too far, they already in jail or dead.
Yeah.
I realized, like, when I was growing up, I realized I didn't want to do that stuff because my older brother, he went to jail for it. Because his father passed at a young age, and he was in the streets seeing what men were doing, and then he wanted to follow after those men. And then after following after those men, that's what got him locked up. And not even men, the boys. the boys that were following after the men, my brother followed after those boys. And those boys plus him got locked up. Boys following after men because they don't got a father in their home.
Yeah, yeah. I guess Milwaukee Excellence, you guys, what, you bring in some of those role models?
I would say that I'm a proud member of Milwaukee Excellence because I know for sure that we put a lot of males that look like us in the schools. Mom will tell you, myself as one of those people. I believe I'm a good man, but and we try to give them, the opposite of what they see out in the streets. And it's funny that you guys both brought up, running after boys, and then some of the songs I listen to. And I had a conversation about rapping, and I showed some kids the song, and then I showed the kids the interview after the song. The rapper was like, I just rap about it because it's entertainment and it's money. I don't actually do those things anymore. Or that was maybe like 15 years ago when I first got into the industry. But like now I don't even do those things. There's other stuff to worry about than what's going on in the streets. There's a rapper named Waka Flocka Flame. He talks about a lot. He talks about how he had to transition himself.
That was my generation.
He had to transition himself out of that because he was like, why am I going, back to the hood and trying to put on this front when I'm in a different bracket now and I have to think about other things and like the livelihood of myself and my family now. And the things that I rap about, people might think I'm actually serious about it and come find me on those things or try to make sure that I'm what I say I am on my songs. And when I talk to kids about that, and they finally see it, like, man, how can I make a change? And, I know in the back of my mind, I know I can't save everybody, but if I can get a good amount just to think about, education or think about a trade that'll get them in a different mindset. I know for a fact right now in our city, playing ball is a big thing in Milwaukee. That's the next out. But then even thinking past ball, it's like you can play ball now, but then you also can be an engineer, or you also can be a plumber, or you also can be an electrician, or you can also go into the disposal industry. I be telling kids all the time, it's like, you want to be a garbage man? I was like, garbage man make some nice money. But the goal is just to make sure, like, and our idea at Milwaukee Excellence is like, if I can get kids to either get a trade or a degree and make a certain amount of money and they stay in the city, it can help better the city because we're keeping them here instead of wanting to leave out. Because if you talk to teenagers now, he'll probably tell you too, a lot of them don't want to stay in the city. A lot of them don't want to be in Milwaukee because they don't think it's anything here. But then me growing up here and then being an adult here, there's a lot to do in Milwaukee if you go and find it. Like, seriously, like.
Right.
But it's just like, what research do the kids, especially on the north side of Milwaukee, actually see to like, oh, I can go do this, or I can go actually do these things? Because their biggest thing right now they're checking for is like, oh, when is the next party, or when is the next meet up here, or who about to fight over here so I can get my phone ready. But no, when is the next time you can go to like this free event and network with these schools? Where's the next job fair, resource fair? When's the next trade fair where you can like actually go try some of these things or volunteer to see if you would get into it? That's how I got into teaching. I used to volunteer for people with special needs, and it got me into thinking that I can do more in the community. But I gave a shout out to my mom, and thank you for doing that single mom plug. But my mom always put me in different things throughout the whole time. Like, I went to schools on the north side. She was just like, nope, we doing this. Nope, you're not doing that. You going here. Nope, we going here. Nope, we going here. I was like, damn, I can't do nothing. But then as now I'm older, as you said, that point was like, I have to give a lot of respect to her, because if she didn't do those things, I could have been doing a couple of different other things compared to what I'm doing now.
She was being a mother, not your friend.
Nope.
Yeah.
She's still not my friend. I'm grown.
Oh my goodness. So and you chose to go into education, be a teacher, and there aren't that many black males doing that, and I wish there were more.
I would agree with you, and if you know some, we still trying to get more males, even just people in general that look like our kids, to be at Milwaukee Excellence, because I think if they can have more people in front of them that are from the city or just look like them that had similar struggles, they would probably be more inclined to be like, man, I can do it. I see so-and-so doing this. I see this teacher doing this. I see that teacher doing that. Not to say that, because majority of our population of teachers is predominantly black teachers, and you can speak some to that too as well, Mama, and Nathaniel as well. But that's what we kind of pride ourselves on. But we're still looking, and we still want to bring more innovation to the school and make it better.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts anybody wants to make? Because our time is just kind of ticked away. Any final thoughts for the community?
I would say to the community, if you see something, say something, speak up. That's the big awareness key point that we talked about multiple times with a lot of students. If you want to make a change and make sure we make a difference, please come try Milwaukee Excellence, because I believe as my job, thinking about restoring our community, that's why we changed the name to Restorative Practice Coach, because it starts with us. And as we continue to get kids and continue to get great candidates and people that want to support our school, it's only going to make it better in the long run.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Nate?
I just want to say, adults in Milwaukee, like, although you're grown and, like, it's hard for you to take feedback, just take some feedback from a youth right now. Try to grow even though you're already grown, because if you grow, you also, like, growing the new generation, because the new generation is following after you. And if you know that the new generation is going to be in the streets, at least be a good example in the streets. Don't let the kids that's growing up right now see what you're doing, because if they see what you're doing, they most likely going to follow after you. So just try to be a good influence so that the new generation can be a good influence and help grow Milwaukee.
Very good. How about you, Tiera?
Excuse me. For me, I would say just as a community, like, we need to get our villages back together. We need to get my kid, don't say nothing. We need to let that go, because it takes all of us. And that's the reason why. And the accountability for these outrageous kids that's out here, them your kids. Like, get them, because you don't want the streets to get them, and you don't want the police to get them, because they're not going to, police is not going to, he's a trouble kid. No. So either you get them or somebody else is going to get them, and it's not going to be nice.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining me for this chat today. Tiera, especially, thank you for coming and sharing Davion with us. And again, I'm really sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And and thank you for that teenage perspective. Nathaniel, I do appreciate you too. And Marcus, what you do, that whole helping kids to navigate this is so important, I think. So all three of you, thank you so much. So my guest, Tiera Carter, the mother of Davion Patterson, who was killed in March. Marcus Lynk, who is the restorative practice coach at Milwaukee Excellence, and Nathaniel Alston, a 10th grade student at Milwaukee Excellence and a great athlete, right?
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of you, and we're going to hear a lot about you, right?
Yeah.
So thank you again for joining us. And thank you for joining us for another edition of the 411 Live, a special edition, I would say, because I have very special guests. Until next time, I'm Beverly Taylor. This is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. If you would like to check out past episodes, there are many ways. Go to your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Like and watch us on Facebook. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, go to our website, the411live.org.